Well, the question we could ask this morning is, are you ready for Christmas? What's your anticipation level? What is your level of expectation in these days to come? If you have kids in the house, they're probably already bouncing off the walls. We've given them plenty of sugar between services to make sure that that goes a long way. But isn't that what makes this time of year exciting and frustrating all at the same time? All of the activity, all of the action. I've been told by people in the know that when I was a kid, I was almost impossible to live with in the weeks leading up to Christmas. My brother and sister roll their eyes when they recall how much of a pest I was when I was trying to figure out what my presents under the tree with my name on them might be. And then they laugh till they cry when they tell stories about how they fooled me with large boxes wrapped with pretty paper and ribbons with my name all over them that were filled with rocks and newspapers. So now you can see why I turned out the way I did. Of course, all that's part of my past now. I'm not nearly the pain around Christmas that I used to be. You all have, I'm sure, similar stories that you could tell about your youth and how that impacted the magic of Christmas for you. And one of the aspects of Christmas that we pass on to the kids is that whole naughty and nice formula. Believe me, I can't count the number of times I've heard that warning in the days leading up to Christmas, just in the past week or so alone. In an effort to encourage the children to behave. We have Santa checking to see who's naughty and nice. We have a list that's going to be checked twice. All so that when Christmas morning rolls around, rewards will be piled underneath the tree. Congratulations, kids. You have found favor with Santa. You have found favor. What a gift that can be. Have you ever had a lousy day at work and then been picked up by something as simple as a comment that you're doing a good job? You have found favor. Have you ever been surprised by coming home to your favorite meal on the table and the kids cooked it? You have found favor. Maybe some new flavors as well. Have you ever received a note in the mail from a friend that you haven't seen in years, who told you how much your friendship over those years have changed their lives? You have found favor. The angel said to Mary, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God." Mary didn't know what to think about those words from the angel. She hadn't done anything in her short life to earn God's attention, either in a good way or in a bad way. In her 14 or so years of life, and that's probably what her age range was, she had had a pretty normal upbringing. She would have fit right in with her community. In fact, she probably would have been almost invisible. She would not have stood out or drawn any attention to herself, nor would she have wanted to. She was a lot like most of us who avoid the spotlight, who live a quiet life when it comes to our faith and our devotion to God. She'd done nothing special. So why? Why was she visited in this way and with this message? That's the precise miracle of God's love for all of creation in Jesus Christ, that none of us has done anything special. None of us have earned or deserved any special place, no matter what we've done in order to earn God's favor. God simply loves us. Always has, always will. This chat with an angel, I'm sure, took Mary by surprise. She would have been shocked that God would even speak to her. A female, a poor female, a poor young female. In her culture, she had no stature. She had no power, no means to do great things. As I said, she was almost invisible. And yet, God noticed her, and God sought her out, and God spoke to her. If being noticed shocked Mary, imagine how dumbfounded she must have been when the angel told her why. "Do not be afraid, Mary," the angel said, "for you have found favor with God, and now you will conceive in your womb and bear a son, and you will name him Jesus. He will be great. He will be called the Son of the Most High, and the Lord God will give to him the throne of his ancestor David. He will reign over the house of Jacob forever, and of his kingdom there will be no end. Pretty simple. All she was going to do was be the one who would give birth to the Son of the Most High. God was going to love the whole world through the birth of her Son. Not a bad day's work, eh? She might expect Mary is overcome with doubt and skepticism. She asks, how can this be? And I think God must get pretty tired of hearing words like that from all of us. When are we ever challenged by God and answer with a, yes, sirree, God, let's do this thing? No. We doubt ourselves and we doubt God's ability, just like Mary did. But in this case, the angel spells it out. He says, this will be God's work, and you will give birth to God's Son. And if you have any more doubts about whether this can happen to a young girl in your condition, a virgin, listen. Your cousin Elizabeth, in her old age, without children, is in her 6th month. So don't say, how can this be? Nothing will be impossible with God. Nothing will be impossible with God's love. What terrific news that must have been for Mary. We can only try and imagine how her life was changed by this chat with the angel. It's no easy thing to bring the Son of God into the world, to watch him grow and mature, to fall in step with the crowds who followed him to hear him teach, to grieve as he was tortured and put to death. What an incredible range of emotions she would have gone through in her life. But through it all, these words of the angel would come back to her over and over again. Nothing will be impossible with God. Nothing. And I want you to hear those words today too, because that good news was not just intended only for Mary. That is good news for each and every one of us. It's good news for the whole world. Nothing is impossible with God. No matter what you might be facing in your life right now that seems too much for you to handle, know that nothing is impossible with God. No matter how uncertain the future might look for you, know that nothing is impossible with God. There are folks who continue to fret about the world ending next week. The Mayan calendar has predicted it. And it may. It may end tomorrow. It may end 1,000 years from now, but the power and the possibilities that come to us in God's love for this world and for us will never end. Long before Mary and the angel had this little chat, God spoke to us in the ancient writings from the Psalms that Maria read a few minutes ago. And one of those verses reads, I will sing of your steadfast love, O Lord, forever. With my mouth I will proclaim your faithfulness to all generations. I declare that your steadfast love is established forever. Your faithfulness is as firm as the heavens. Mary's response to the gift of God's love was pretty simple and direct. Here I am, the servant of the Lord. Let it be to me according to your word. Friends, God has just as rich and full a gift of love for each and every one of you. How will you respond? Nothing will be impossible